next item is first review of Administrative Guideline 5112A, admission to 4- and 5-year-old kindergarten.
So with the administrative guidelines, typically these do not come to the board for full approval. But the nature of this particular guideline, we felt the entire board should have the opportunity to weigh in on it. We are making a recommendation that there not be early admission to 4K. There's a number of reasons for that. One of them, of course, is that with the Common Core State Standards, there are higher, more rigorous standards for students starting right away in kindergarten. And we want to make sure that we are, that a child is prepared for those standards when they're coming into kindergarten. We also have the ability, once a child is enrolled in the district, to accelerate them at any point in time. So if a 4-year-old in 4K, the teacher said, wow, this child is really advanced, we can go ahead and move that 4-year-old into 5-year-old kindergarten. The testing that's done on 3-year-olds tends to be very unreliable and not very valid. And we really question utilizing our school psychs in that particular capacity to be spending time on giving those tests when they're not really going to prove to be very reliable. And it's also important to note that the majority of districts in this area do not allow early admittance to 4K. That, students have to be 4 on or before September 1st. So we have, I think this year there were 2 3-year-olds that we did do testing on. When you look down at the criteria for entrance to 5K, early admission is really talked about there. And it says early admission to 5-year-old kindergarten and first grade. It doesn't say 4-year-old kindergarten, but we've been following those practices because we didn't have anything in our administrative guidelines that said you couldn't early admit to 4-year-old kindergarten. So what has happened is many of those children, they don't necessarily meet the superior rating that's expected. They may be above average from the testing, but parents are just insistent upon their children having the opportunity to start early, even though they don't meet the criteria that we have in the policy. So we just think it's in everyone's best interest to say, a 3-year-old can wait until they're 4, and we can always move them at that point if needed. So that's the recommendation, and you have a month to be thinking about that and letting me know if you have any concerns or questions with that.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions right now?